Hi guys, and welcome back to Driven London. Today we are bringing you a glorious 991.2 GT3, a manual club sport, the driver's car.
It's really quite interesting because the last GT3 that we had, the white one that was in the last video, which is a 0.1, was what is known as a comfort spec. So what that was is, comfort 14-way adaptive seats, no cage. Obviously it only came as a PDK. And what we're bringing to you today is actually, as you could probably hear, a manual transmission. So the great thing about the Dot 2 is Porsche listened and they brought back the manual transmission.
What we wanted to bring to you with Driven London was almost a back-to-back comparison of the two generations. There are lots of videos that will give one point of view and there are lots of videos that give the other point of view, but we just wanted to give you an open, honest comparison between these two beautiful cars. From the get-go, something that's really interesting about the 0.2 is the throttle response low down. So as you know, the Gen 1 had hydraulic valve lifters and this current Gen 2 has a fixed valve train. Now, whilst the hydraulic lifters gave this lovely bellow sound and a metallic sound at the top end of the RPM, we know that the engine had some reliability issues in the 0.1. Now, obviously, Porsche offered quite extensive warranties over these engines, but the GT3 is the flagship product, so they couldn't have engine reliability issues, and by fixing the valve train they've created an absolute beautiful sound. The next thing we're going to talk about is the came only as a PDK, and the lightning fast response of that gearbox is something that is industry leading. But the really interesting thing is I felt that manual downshifts sound much nicer than the downshift in the PDK. By comparison, the upshift creates this artificial pop or bang from the exhaust on the PDK, which I really quite like.
So we talked about the lower RPM torque, which is increased in this car, but also it's quite interesting to note that having driven both cars, you really have a really different pitch and engine sound. That's obviously because of the difference in the hydraulic lifters for the valve train. And which one you prefer is purely a personal preference. I think they both sound absolutely glorious. They both rev to 9,000 RPM. There was something about the deep bellow tone of the 0.1 that I really liked. I wouldn't say I prefer it over this car. I think this car sounds absolutely amazing, incredible. But I would say that car did have a lovely and somewhat metallic-y sound as well.
The next thing to discuss is the specification of the cars. As we showed you in the last video, the 991.1 was a comfort spec. So what this meant is cruise control, 14-way adaptive seats, obviously only came as PDK, and all the modern amenities that would make it a very, very regular, daily usable car. Incidentally, the Gen 2 is more of a track day spec, which has got the bucket seats, it's got a roll cage, and incidentally it also has front axle lift, which I think is imperative to have if driving around London. Obviously both cars are quite noisy from inside, but let's make it clear, if it wears a GT3 badge, even though it's called a comfort spec, it's not supposed to be a comfortable car. It's just supposed to be more comfortable. And frankly, Porsche have done a fantastic job with making these bucket seats because they're really comfortable. I've driven some relatively long trips, even up to Europe, and sat in the car, and it's been an absolute pleasure and breeze to drive through with.
As part of Driven London, I want to say a big thank you to the team for being patient with us, the followers, the subscribers, and if you do like this video and you want more content, don't forget to hit the bell icon to click for notifications and subscribe on our videos. We'll look forward to seeing you guys soon. Cheers.